Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Legacy United Core Class CHEETOR, who I am all but certain the good buddy Sixo has somehow willed this figure into creation, or into being. I gotta admit, this thing's pretty good for a little core class figure, and honestly, if a couple of things were tweaked, this thing would make a really neat deluxe class figure, or, you know, if you're a Chinese figure oversizer watching this, you should make an oversized version of this. That'd be pretty cool. Now, I thought that this thing was going to be a bit bigger than some of the other core class figures, but I'm not completely right in that, but we'll talk about that in a second. The thing I find very funny is this figure somehow works better at this size class than the original Mega class figure did, and definitely better than that Supreme class figure. That thing was god-awful. I never did review that. I should probably find it. It's the size of one of my cats. Paint is pretty darn good. Legs actually do have paint on them. The feet do, and then you've got the spots there on the side. Torso is well painted, and I can't get much closer, otherwise my camera won't focus in. The only thing I don't particularly care for are the eyes, but that's really hard at this size class. In robot mode, posability, his head is on a swivel. There is a ball joint in the upper shoulder, a ball joint at the elbow, no fist articulation, no torso articulation due to the transformation, but I'm okay with that. Ball joint in the hip, there is a thigh swivel, and then hinge joint in the knees, and then no foot articulation. So you do have to futz with it a little bit, but it will stand with no problem. The feet are nice and wide, but just make sure you've got the center of gravity correct, otherwise he just falls over. The swords can combine for this scissor action or for flight action, though I haven't been able to get them to combine quite well enough to actually work as a flying wing. The other thing I was trying to figure out is it supposed to go this way, or is it supposed to go the other way? You know what? I should probably look at the directions. According to the directions, it's meant to go like this. How very mum-ra of you. Up at the shoulders, there are tiny little slots that you're supposed to peg the swords into. And I, in theory, got no problem with that, except the left shoulder has a tendency on my figure to pop off very easily, and then the little nubs just stick out on the side. I don't particularly care for that, but overall, it's not bad. And I realized I didn't have the cheetah head folded down all the way along the back, which I have to admit, like, this thing's a looker. It really is. If you're not a fan of beast machines, perfectly okay. That's absolutely fine, but I rather dig the way this thing looks. And again, I swear that Sixo willed this into existence all by himself. And in terms of scale, here are some other core class figures. We got Boulder Crush, Energon Megatron, Tasmanian Kid, and Mohawk here for you. As you can see, he's a little bit taller than all of them. Now his legs aren't completely extended perfectly straight, but close enough. And because I thought it would be funny, here he is in the chair. So in terms of robot mode, I gotta give him 2 thumbs up. He's a lot of fun, and I actually quite like him. Transformation into beast mode is more complex than I originally thought it was going to be. To start off with, turn the head around 180 degrees, reach around the back, and flip up the Cheeto head onto the robot head like that. That's probably the worst part of the transformation for me. I just don't like the way that looks. There are these little tabs coming out of the underarms, and they will actually snap in to the chest. This is actually the hardest part of the transformation because I can never get these damn things lined up correctly. And then we take this little bit of the foot and flip it over and peg it into the fist. And do the same thing on the other side. Get in there. And of course, I popped off the swords because of course I did. And then come to the hips and actually pull the hips down away from the figure. Fold out the tail. And then take the legs and fold up the thighs. And then push the leg forward. And one thing I haven't mentioned is all the joints on this guy are nice and tight. Not so much so that you think you're going to break it, but they're just all pleasantly tight. And then we end up with CHEETOR. Oh my god, it's so cute. It's so cute. Oh, you're such a little kitty. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You want chin scratches? You want chin scratches? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. The beast mode we end up with works pretty darn well. There is one flaw with it, and I'll mention that in a second. But overall, I like it. I do. I think it works. Its posability is okay, and overall, yeah, that's Beast Machine's CHEETOR. That actually makes me think more of Knight/Beast Machine's CHEETOR, but it's still CHEETOR. Now, the only thing I don't like about the figure is the fact that his head is looking down. There's really no way other than moving his head manually to make him look forward. And that's a bummer, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. You just have to realize that there's a robot head sticking out under there. It's not a huge deal. It's perfectly fine. Overall, though, this works. And it works really well for the size class. I do want to show you the figure without the swords, and I think the figure looks even better without the swords. The swords adds just a bit too much bulk for my taste, but then you've got nowhere to put the swords. And I did try to, combine these two up and give him like the Voltron-esque mouth blades, but there's no way to do that. There's nothing to plug into. I was thinking, oh, well, maybe there's a way to plug it into his back, but no, there really isn't. I futzed with it a little bit, and just no. Just no. But still, we've ended up with a really nice little figure here. I have to admit, I was ready to hate this thing. I was ready to not like it one bit. But it's really good. It's fun. It's cool. It's not perfect, and I just popped a ball joint because of course I did. But it's neat. It's tiny. It's fun. It's relatively inexpensive at $10. But I do like it, and I think it is neat. And it's the only Beast Machines figure that we've gotten in the line so far, and I don't know if we're going to get any other Beast Machines figures. If we do, I would expect us to get a repaint of Rise of the Beasts Optimus Primal as Optimus Primal from, Beast Machines. Overall, it's a winner. And if you're a fan of Beast Wars or Beast Machines, definitely pick this one up. It's definitely worth having, and I'm putting him on my shelf. I'm not throwing him in a baggie. He's going on one of my display shelves because he's just cool. All right, folks, let me know what you think of CHEETOR down in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.